Hey, how you doing, folks? It is Monday night, Monday 15th of September, 8:33 p.m. in Wellington, New Zealand. So I'm not sure what time it is wherever you are. Totally aware that if it's the US, this is not a good time. At least not if you're in New York and that kind of area. But, you know, I do these randomly these days. I'm trying not to do them the same time. I hope this is coming through okay. I'm just going to check. I'm slightly different setup, as I do most times. It seems I have to do one of these, or choose to do one of these. It's not have to. I want to. I like doing this. That's why I do it. Because if you don't like something, don't keep doing it. How's everyone doing? Jump in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions. Nick Granville live. Let's have a look and see. Here we go. The chat. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, there we go. Nick Granville live. Let's have a look and see. There we go. The chat. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, there we go. Let's have a look and see. There we go. Okay, it seems to be working. Hey Matthew, how you doing? Great to be here tonight, this morning, 9:30 a.m. here in London. 9:30 in London. That's the middle of the night for me. I have a gig this weekend where I'm filming, actually. It's a music event competition, and myself and a really great drummer in town, we're going to put together a thing and do the setup, you know, what I'm doing now, filming and stuff. And they were like, yeah, well, the competition starts at 9 a.m. and I was like, I don't do mornings. Hey Leo, how you doing? I'm just not a morning person, you know, some people are. Is the guitar coming through okay? Should be hearing it distorted now. I hope it is. Let me just double check that because I changed the channels on. I hope it is. Let me just double check that because I changed the channels on. Oh, Jake says it sounds good to him. I hope it is. Let me just double check that because I changed the channels. Oh, Jake says it sounds good to him. I hope it is. Let me just double check that. There we go. I've always got to check that because I've had this before where I did a live stream one time and I said to folks, how does it sound? And people were like, yeah, it sounds great. And then, I'd played 2 or 3 tunes, like playing along to these tracks. And afterwards, one of them, someone said, why are you playing like all the solos, like the solo stuff? And I was like, oh, you mean to tell me you're not hearing the backing track? So all they were hearing, literally guitar wasn't coming through like properly. They were hearing that and no track. And I was like, oh man, so I deleted that live stream. I was like, I'm not keeping that one out in the world. But anyway, I'll start off. I'm going to play a track unless somebody's got any questions. But this is Acid Jazz Jam Track in D minor, Purple Velvet. BJT number 130 from Ben's Jam Tracks. I think Ben's Australian, actually. I really like Ben's tracks. I think they're awesome. I'm going to give him a like. And I've subscribed. Go and subscribe to his channel because he makes really good tracks. I forgot. I should have changed my buffering slightly. Hope we're not going to get dropouts. We'll see. Let's try this. This is cool. guitar. That's cool. You probably think that I'm staring at the screen, but I'm actually staring at my iPad, which is just below the screen, because of the chord changes. Because I don't know the track. It's just one I found. Like, I haven't even listened to it. I listened to like about a second just to make sure it was working. Oh, cheers, Miss Stephanie. Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate it. Yeah, interesting kind of chord changes in there. You've got this D minor, and then it goes to D major over B. That sound right. B flat major, A7, so that's kind of pretty normal, right? But that's kind of challenging, right? D minor, D major, but and then G major, right out of another key, E flat major. Kind of interesting. C7. Kind of reminds me of the sort of chord changes you'd see on a band like Incognito or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like that. Those are cool changes to that major. Like that. One Man Band says, "Hi Nick, even got your live stream in my feed. Awesome. And no, I haven't been naughty." Nice fingers, thank you. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? Like the whole YouTube thing. I was watching some stuff the other day. Ben Shepherd's here. Watching something the other day. I was like, man, I'm sure I'm subscribed to this channel. And then I went and I had a look, and sure enough, I was. But for some reason, I don't see any of the videos in my thing. The other thing I noticed on my phone too with YouTube, it seems to rank your subscriptions in terms of like. You know, like, prioritizing them now. It's like, man, I subscribe to these people because I want to see their stuff. You know what I mean? Like, hey Johnny, how you doing? Do you like shredding any metal stuff? I haven't really played metal stuff since I was a teenager, dude. Like I kind of went through my phase of doing that, Metallica and all that sort of stuff, and I really liked bands like Black Sabbath and Tool, and it's not really heavy stuff, but you know, a bit of weight to it. But I mean, some of that stuff's even now like hard rock, right? But yeah, I don't really know much about it like now, you know, like I'm so out of the loop of what's happening in that stuff. But occasionally I get the odd recording session where I have to do some kind of more heavier stuff. I got the wrong guitar for it right now. Maybe I wonder if I how am I gonna do this? I could do that. Yeah, here we go. 1 second. Can I get it? Before I choke myself. The headphones. I hate corded headphones, man. You know? This should be, if nothing else, this will be entertaining. I didn't say it was going to be good. I had a session once for a TV show, and they said, there's a fight scene and we want, or something like that, and we want you to play some heavy metal tracks. And they said, so bring your Les Paul. So I bought this guitar, and they said, yeah, your Fender amps aren't going to really cut it. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the music shop and I borrowed a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier, and in the studio, it's kind of up on the hill back here, and put the rectifier head in the room with me, and the cab 412 was down in the other room, and I dimed that thing like beyond an inch of its life. The whole walls were like going, you know, noise control got called. It was freaking awesome. What should I play? Man, I can barely remember it. It's ridiculous. That sort of stuff is about as heavy as I play these days, you know what I mean? Yeah. I will on occasion though kind of bust out some of that stuff. Darren Mathews and I, especially if he's on the gig, then I know he knows a lot of that stuff, and we'll kind of be naughty and sort of play, yeah, kind of suggest some metal stuff. I'm trying to think of what else I know. I mean, I really like, one of my favourite bands back in the day, and they weren't even really metal, was I really like Stone Temple Pilots. Yeah, I liked STP, and I liked, Soundgarden. Man, Soundgarden. Kim Thale, the way he plays is just ridiculous. Like, when I hear that guy, I most guitar players you hear, you kind of can go, oh, it sounds a bit like that person. It sounds a bit like... They kind of wear their influences on their shoulder. When I hear that guy, it's like totally original. I kind of feel the same way about Tom Morello. When I hear Tom Morello play, I just go, man, actually, there was a song I was working on the other day that was kind of fun. You all will know that song, Know Your Enemy. And it has that beginning where Tom Morello does the kill switch thing, and but he's also got a fifth interval on the whammy pedal, and it's so it's... Yeah. Oh, so Ben says, man, great tunes. And he says, got to jam with Tom at his house years ago. Crazy guitarist. That's awesome, man. If you all don't know, you should go over to Bass with Benjamin and go and subscribe to his channel, my buddy. He's on the Reamped album, the bass player. We co-wrote those tunes, me and Ben and Dylan Elise, also a Kiwi. And Ben's a bad dude. He's a bad boy. He does a live stream every Thursday on his channel, bass stuff, and he sounds like a whole band because he does chords and stuff. Yeah, I love Rage Against the Machine too, and I think Tom Morello's fantastic. I've always loved his playing, and again, the thing I love about him, and I find this the more I learn about music and the more I do music, the less I kind of care how fast people can play, the less I care what gear they play, and the more I care about how original somebody is. That to me is the thing, right? Like, you know, if I hear someone playing amazing blues, but they sound like this person, that person, I go, this is cool, you know. But when I hear someone doing like Chris Kane, and I hear Chris Kane, and I go, man, that voice and the guitar playing is like, just nobody sounds like that. And so that's kind of really appealing to me, is like someone sounding original. I'm going to tune this again. The old classic Les Paul that won't stay in tune. I've got my fractal here, but I haven't set it up properly. Normally I have a pedal, a volume pedal, and the tuner is on the D tune. The other thing too is I've actually been considering putting those two volume and pots back just for this guitar, because I don't play the Les Paul that much these days. Like, it's you know what I mean. I use this really as a session tool because there's things about it that are frustrating. Like, it's heavy. The D and G strings are hard to keep in tune. You know, I'd rather play the Paul Reed Smith. So I thought, well, if I put it back to original, then you can kind of do the Les Paul thing. I have another crack at that tune because I liked that. This is from Ben's Jam Tracks. It's that D minor, D major thing. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You just... Playing that stuff, I just want to play the Strat. You know what I mean? It sort of feels... Even though I was just feeling like, when I'm playing the Les Paul, it's too sweet. I wanted a bit more bite, you know? And all of a sudden, that's that sound. You can see the banjo, can you? Yeah, I had this student round before, Ridley. Ridley's a gun, you know, and I've got this gig next month playing the soundtrack for Stardew Valley. I don't know if you know, that backing track's on YouTube. It's called Acid Jazz Jam Track in D minor, Purple Velvet from Ben's Jam Tracks. So, but I'm playing, next month I'm playing Stardew Valley, the video game. We're doing a concert tour with an orchestra. So 35-piece orchestra in Wellington and Auckland, Wellington Orchestra, and then the Auckland Philharmonic. And I'll be playing banjo. So I have my Cheats banjo. And I'll be playing classical guitar, nylon string. I won't play it too hard. Let's play that track with... The old Lance Sewer classic. Come on. I'm trying not to play it too loud because this thing is really loud, and I'll just clip my microphone, which you can't see, it's just here out of shot, but yeah. Johnny asks, yeah, like having their own sound or being recognisable, like both, you know. Just people who, like, they've got their thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I hear Tom Morello played, like, those kind of DJ influence things he does, you know? It's like, nobody did that before he did that, I heard, you know? Like, Brian May, when I hear Brian May play, it's like, wow, man, that guy, he kills me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just so melodic, and that sound that he gets with the screaming lead tone and the, you know, I'm going to drop it in the chat. Give me 1 second. What's it called? Yeah, that's interesting, that track, you know. Don't need that. Yeah, it's weird it didn't work. What's happened here? What have I done wrong? Is it frozen up? Uh-oh. Oh no. Maybe I can't post it in the chat. That's weird. The hell? Oh well. Maybe OBS won't let me do it. Dunno. Let's try that again. I'll do it on my phone. Copy. What'd you think of that thumbnail? That was kind of wild. That was a nano banana, is that what banana, if you want to call it that. There you go. The AI program. Yeah, I got a crazy busy week this week. It's gonna be a bit nuts. I got a bunch of things on to the next couple of days, and then Thursday, Friday, I'm teaching on the MEFA workshops in Wellington. So I'll be teaching, of all things, two jazz guitar workshops, and then I'm teaching two jazz guitar workshops, 2 blues guitar workshops. Dan Hales, how's it going, man? So we've got Ben Shepherd in the chat, we've got Dan Hales in the chat. That's awesome. Miss Stephanie's in the chat. Johnny, That's cool. Thank you for joining me, people. So the MEFA stuff, and then we're doing a sort of a jam session for the kids on the Thursday night down at Underworld, which is the venue down in central Wellington, and got Rick Cranston and Elliot playing bass. Those guys are ridiculous when they're together, and me and Neil. And then Erna Ferry's going to sing a bunch of tunes. And then we're going to get the kids up to jam, the kids from the workshop. So they'll get to come and play and experience it like a jam session. It's been billed as a blues jam session, but if the kids want to play jazz, they want to play funk, they want to play soul, whatever, I don't care. But the big thing for me, and this is one of the things I'm really going to push at that jam session, is I want the singers to be involved. Sometimes those jam sessions can be a bit intimidating for young singers, you know what I mean? So having Erna there, I've got Erna to, she's going to take care of the singers and really make sure that they have a good time and that they feel included, and I'll be doing my best to do that too. Of course, there'll be guitar players there, there'll be drummers, but get to play with Rick Cranston and Elliot. Holy heck, And then Friday, more teaching on the workshops. Same thing again, blues workshop. Don't know why I'm doing blues workshops there this year, but that's what they wanted, so that's what I'm doing. Blues workshop, jazz guitar workshop, and I'm taking some combos. And then on Saturday is the young musicians thing that's happening. So myself and Darren Mathews will be filming, so it's going to be full on. It's going to be busy. Yeah, Ben says 2 trillion guitar players and 1 bassist. Yeah, exactly. And then what happens? You know what happens when you get all those sax players there, right? You get 15 horn players, you're playing a blues, and each one of those horn players wants to take 27 choruses each. And by the time you get to the end of it, they're like, do you want a solo? And I'm like, nah, never again. Yeah, oh, awesome. Yeah, I figured you were on those, Dan. That's great, man. So I guess you must be judging for young musicians. I've got D as my second cameraman, so that's going to be awesome. Check this out. Is that going to come through? No. I the other day had a music stand right here, and I leaned down to get something, and I picked it up and went bang real hard, and I was like, dunk, and I was like, crap. And then every time you go to put your thumb just there right on it, it was like really annoying the hell out of me. So then I was like, so I sanded it smooth. Now you don't even feel the dent where it was. And then I had this bright idea, classic me. Got these furniture touch-up markers. Alright, is that going to focus? It's going to stay on my... And I just thought, oh, well, it looks close enough to the same colour. Put a little bit in there. And it's kind of hidden it a little bit. But, hey, there you go. That's that sound, the middle pickup. I found this sound the other day too, on that show I was doing with Kate Marshall on the weekend. And so I thought this was kind of interesting, you know. With my Porridge Smith, if I engage the coil tap on the pickup, and I have both pickups on with that sound, so that's no amp modeling, it's just a little bit of reverb and quite a bright kind of EQ setting. Man, sounded like an acoustic guitar, which was awesome because on that show there was, there was no time to swap. We played the whole time, the whole second act. It was like an hour and a bit of just like song after song after song, because it was two pianos, guitar and percussion. I had to, you couldn't stop. You had to kind of, No, I haven't tried the Gambale tuning. I have tried a few of the inverted tunings. Ella Feingold, if you all know who she is, fantastic kind of funk soul rhythm player. She has a tuning that she does where it's like how do I explain this? So you get E, A, D, G, B, E standard guitar strings, but your bottom string is not the thickest anymore. So that's substituted for a string that's an octave or two octaves higher even. And then the next one is similar, and the idea being that when you play a chord voicing like this, right, normally it goes low to high. Well, now that note there is actually coming out sounding like that. So when you play a chord like that, it actually almost sounds like a piano chord, because you've got you get all these close voicings and things, right? For example, this you would have where would it work? If you played a chord like this. Well, that G on the bottom, I have to use my thumb because I can't play it otherwise. That G would come out up here and now be right next to the F sharp in pitch. So you would get a sound that was like that note in there as well. There's some really unique kind of things. I've done Dadgad tuning. Dadgad tuning. D, A, D, F sharp, A, D, I think it is, something like that. C tunings. I've done a little bit with tunings, but man, that's hard. And this thing's hard enough with just like standard guitar tuning, you know. Dan's got 8 million workshops. It's great, man. Lucky students, man. They don't know how lucky they are getting access to musicians of your level. I totally think so too, man. You know, like teaching, Dan says teaching is special, and I totally agree, you know. It always bums me out when some musicians are kind of just, I get the impression that they're just teaching because, you know, it's a way to make a little bit of money, and they have this, you know, they spend the whole time they're teaching and they're doing like this on their phone rather than actually like giving the students some, you know, when people come to me for lessons, you know, I like, my whole thing is, it's not about me, it's about like what I'm trying to give them what's best for them. And sometimes that's hard because some people, you know, don't want to do what's best for them. But you know, if you're actually dedicated to teaching, and you know, I stopped teaching for a while because I kind of got burnt out on it, but I'm enjoying doing it again, and I'm teaching about 6 lessons a week now, just feeling pretty good. I do most of them on Mondays and Tuesdays. I probably got room for 1 or 2 more students, but I don't want to do too much. Like I want to have a good dedicated crew of people, and I got a kid in England that I teach every Tuesday morning, and he's doing really well. He's like, this kid, he's like 15, 16, something like that. I says to him, what music are you into? And he says, I really like bossa nova. And I was like, man, like that's a first, you know, like a kid that age that his first thing is bossa nova. It's not like a, you know, I also play bossa nova or whatever. But he was really into it, so that's been cool. And then I teach this kid Ridley, who's Rian Sheehan's boy. For those who know who Rian Sheehan is, I've known Rian for a long time in Rushy, the parents. So, and Ridley's a gun. He's going to be great. It's already great. And I teach this young guy James, who's also a gun. You know, James already knows what he wants to do with his life. He wants to play guitar for a living. You know, he's like, he's got it worked out. If there's any music industry left for them by the time they're around, right? Something like that. I do notice that's like harder on a Strat because of the scale length, right? That would be kind of more like that distance on a Les Paul, but can still do it. So in the weekend before the show, I took this camera here, my little DJI. I've got two of these. These things are amazing. If you're looking for a little GoPro style camera, these are the ones to go for, the DJI Osmos. Get the Action 5, not the 3. I bought the 3 when it first came out, and the 3 is really good. But the difference is the 5 has almost twice as much battery power. The 3 you can get through about 2 hours. So if you start filming the beginning of your gig, you're probably not going to get the whole thing. And I pretty much film every gig now. It's the best learning thing ever. I get home, I look at it, and so many times I'm thinking, man, that gig went well. And I look back on it and I'm like, oh, Nick, you got some work to do. You know what I mean? In certain areas of things that I thought went well didn't. And then things that I thought was really down about. And I thought, man, that was shit. They're actually often better than I thought. You know, so it's like the best learning thing ever. And I don't want to leave my phone there, you know, so I take one of these and I just chuck it up somewhere and I look at it later, and if something's good there, I'll share it with you all, you know, something kind of half decent in there. But but I took one to my wife's gig in the weekend. She had the cameraman bailed on her, who was filming for her choir. She sings in an early music group called the Tudor Consort, and I took it along. I'm just going to check something. You know, we're cool. That's still running. I just wanted to make sure the stream was still going. I set up the camera and I put it there, and you run power and all the rest of it. And then I had to go and do my own show, right? I had to go and run and do the show, which was only around the corner. We're in Dixon Street at the Te Auaha Theatre. And they were at St. Mary's on St. Mary's of the Angels, or whatever that church is called. And so I left it there, and then I checked the footage today, and I got it there, and the first set looks great. First half of their show, you know, everything looks really good. And then some numpty woman walked into the camera. You can see it just like crash. The whole camera like shakes, you know. It was on a tripod, and all of a sudden, instead of being framed like this, it's now like that. So you can kind of miss some people on this side, but they can recrop it in a bit. I was like, oh man. And I wasn't there, so there was nothing I could do. Let's swap that one over there. I've been using these for a minute too for you guitar players. Is that going to show up? These picks roll. Oh man, Mark Lockett walked into my guitar the other day. I did this gig with John Ray, and it was his Celtic big band project at Bedlam and Squalor, and two drummers, so Mark Lockett and John Ray, and then Paddy Bleakley playing bass, and then we had about 5 or 6 horn players, trumpet, accordion player, really good accordion player. The dude was killing, you know, it was cool. But I put my guitar down. There was nowhere else to go because all the horn players had kind of lined up all their horn cases along the thing. So I leaned my guitar up against the edge of the couch. You know, it was supported. It was fine. And I had the SCO guitar, which is that one over there. You can kind of see behind that camera. And I hear this crash and a loud like noise. It was that noise that happens when that noise, you know. And I look around and I'm like, oh man, Mark Lockett just walked into my guitar. And I was like, I went over and he goes, oh, it's a silly place to leave it. I was like, there's nowhere else to leave it. You know, there was literally no more room anywhere. Like all the horn cases were all, you know. It was fine. The guitar was fine. I mean, whatever. No worse than me. This is a Patrick, this is a .96 Primetone Dunlop. These are awesome. They're expensive. They're $17 for 3 picks, which goes against my constitution. But I have shitloads of picks and shitloads more. I tried these ones too. I don't like them as much. The flow version, the different type of material, which to me sounds really harsh. I think about 1 millimeter is about ideal for me. I have tried lighter picks. I like lighter picks better for rhythm guitar stuff. So things like, let's go back to the other side. That sort of thing, is kind of good, but it's enough that I can still play. There's not too much flex that kind of, that sort of thing disappears, you know what I mean? So they're about the ideal. I'd love to have someone make me a pick. That would be the coolest thing. If I could someone, because these aren't quite what I want. You know what I mean? But they're the closest to what I've found. I quite liked these picks too. The Steve Vai picks. I've got to put it in front of my head or the camera will try and... These are pretty good actually. It still glides well. But... because that's the test, right? Is will a pick... Like the thing with hard picks is that they're not that good for rhythm guitar. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be... something like that where you've got like single note lines as well as like chords. That's when you really notice it, like the bit of give that's got to be right. These are good. Anyway, I should play another track. I wonder what else our old mate Ben's Jam Tracks has. He's probably got some good stuff in there. Flashpoint, Jazz Fusion Jam Track in C minor Flashpoint. I hope you guys are digging all the Jazz Fusion lesson stuff I've been doing lately too. I had a bunch of people asking for it, and I did a poll on kind of asking people what you wanted to see on the channel, because I'm doing this because of you all, so I might as well find out what people want, and people seem to respond to wanting more fusion stuff. And I've had a bunch of comments and particularly private messages from people saying, there's not a lot of good fusion stuff on the internet, on YouTube. Like there's some pretty good straight ahead stuff, and heaps of blues and lots of John Mayer stuff and things like that everyone else is doing. So I thought, well, maybe we'll focus on that for a minute.
With massive reductions store-wide, there's a brand for every room. On sale now at Briscoe's.
Good on your Briscoe's.
Sensodyne Repair and Protect will repair your
Sensodyne.
sensitive teeth. Try Sensodyne. It works.
So this is Jazz Fusion Jam Track. Jazz Fusion Jam Track in C minor Flashpoint from Ben. Woo! Nice changes. this one. Yeah, that's cool. I totally agree, Dan. Yeah, that's it, man. The influence is very obvious. And yeah, you're right, Ben. That F major 7 is so misleading, isn't it? It's like it got me a couple times. That's one I'd like to sort of learn up a little bit. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Yeah, like learn up and actually learn those changes, because I'm just reading this off the screen. And of course, it'll go by and then the screen will flick to the next one. You're like, it's like this. Right. If I play the right notes. So the thing is, people, you get the mistakes for free. I don't charge extra for the mistakes. They come with the deal. And then it's F minor, major. I mean, that's pretty chromatic, isn't it? Right? I dig it. It's cool. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Well, just don't. Just try and brush past my mistakes. You'd think one of these days I'd actually like prepare something, and it's funny. You know, I do these videos that I put out, and I do editing and stuff with them. If you knew how little time I put into actually playing the playing part of it, some of you would be surprised. Like, I never do more than one take. Like, I just do one take, it's done. I don't edit. There's no, like, you get mistakes and all. You get the mistakes for free. And then I tend to spend about, like, 3 or 4 hours doing all the graphics and assembling all the bits. Man, it's sometimes it's a mission, especially if you've got more than one camera. Because one thing I've been doing lately is putting a little camera here and getting a close-up shot, which I really like. It's something about a really wide angle, but but broken camera. No, it'll be fine. These things are bulletproof. I've dropped this so many times, and I took the side cover off. It was getting annoying. Excuse me, they're action cameras, so they're designed to be strapped onto somebody's helmet, and then they crash on a bicycle or something like that. But the editing is the thing that takes the time. It's not But the other day I was thinking, should I even bother with the editing? Just put videos out and just they are what they are. But I enjoy the edit, and I was like, man, if I'm going to put this out, I want to put out the best kind of take of it. You know what I mean? Where someone's not guessing, is that a G minor or a C minor? I'll put it in there in the text on the screen. It's like, excuse me, it's right there for you. You know what I mean? Like, because the other way I look at this stuff too is this stuff, hopefully there's some longevity with it. I'm not just making it for views now. Like, I'm not even really making it for the views, right? Like, it's like, if people are into it, then that's cool. I just do it because I like doing this stuff, and people seem to like it too, so that's cool. But it's like, I'm not chasing views or trying to be famous like some people are, or any of that kind of crap. It's like, it's not me. I'm a sideman. That's what I've spent my life doing. But the thing is, like, I'd like to think that 10 years from now, somebody could look at that and it would still stand up as good work. Whereas if I just kind of put my phone up, and players like Tom Bukovac, they can totally just put their phone up and do that because, every time I try and do that, I'm always disappointed. And I'm not disappointed because of the playing. I'm disappointed because I look at it and I just go, man, my phone just looks like crap. Like the image quality is crappy, the sound is crappy, and I just go, eh. Oh, the backing track? It was called Jazz Fusion Backing Track in C minor, Flashpoint. Ben's Jam Tracks, number 127. So it's on YouTube. They're all just on YouTube. What key is it in? G. Really cool stuff. Went through a real phase of Weather Report where I listened to a heap of Weather Report, and man, I love that stuff, Man in the Green Shirt. Had this gig with Roger Fox one time, and he hadn't told us what to wear, and me being the classic numpty that I am, I turned up with a green shirt. So he's giving me shit all night. He was like, here we go, the man in the green shirt. Everyone else was wearing black. I should have known that it was black, but man, sometimes I do dumb shit. That's what I do. It's the one thing that I've consistently been good at, is doing dumb things. But yeah, I turned up with a green shirt. And afterwards I thought, man, I should have just known that it would be black. Right? So, but yeah, he kept calling me the man in the green shirt. Mustang Sally, no chart. C. You want that one? Come on. What am I doing? I broke it. Yeah, seems I have. Oh, I see. There we go. Sorry, I got my fractal on the floor and I bumped something. Yeah, I do the fractal on the computer. I don't even know if I don't think I plugged it in. Actually, I think maybe I did. My fractal's been in the theatre for the last 3 weeks. We've been at the Tower Half Theatre, and I don't want that over there. What am I doing? Wrong one. There we go. That should be way better. There we go. Hey man, great shit. Man, I miss that guy. So I edit them in the computer. It's just quicker. You can do it on the thing, but on the unit itself, but it's so slow to have to try and do it on there. You have this tiny little screen and there's all these sub menus and shit. It's like, just do it on your computer. But I did find something out about the fractals the other day. I caught up with my friend George, who was in town playing with Cairo Knife Fight with Nick Gaffney, and I've known George for a number of years. George is the guitar player in the Black Eyed Peas, and he was telling me with the Black Eyed Peas he goes out on the road, because I saw him at Meow and we had a bit of a hang afterwards, and he said that when he goes out with the Black Eyed Peas he takes his fractal. He doesn't take the real amps. He's a Friedman guy. He's using Friedman for a long time, but he takes the fractal. It's in a rack, and he said the secret to it, and this is something I haven't told anyone about yet, and he said he hasn't really spoken about it much, but what he does is he goes out of the fractal stereo, and then he goes into a stereo tube preamp, and then that goes out to the front of house. But I think it's preamp compressor or preamp. I think it might be just preamp. And he said that's the thing that going through some tubes at that point, that's the thing that gives it that little bit of squishy kind of feel that we love about a guitar amp. And he said he's got them so dialed in. He said the Fractal have asked him for years if he'd give them his presets for the Black Eyed Peas. And he's like, nah. And then they said something like, oh, we'll give you the Edge, the Edge from YouTube. We'll give you Edge's presets if you give us ours. So he said, I'll give you one then. Because he said he'd spent like 20 years like dialing them in. But that's the secret, he reckons, is having a tube stereo preamp for your output. So you go out of the fractal and stereo into the tube preamp and then out to front of house, just to add a bit of that amp squishiness from it, what we want from the tubes. So I'm going to have to see if I can track something down like that. Poor guy was looking like he wasn't going to get his guitars on the plane too, because he had two guitars in a gig bag, and then he had two guitars checked, and he had his massive big pedal board checked too, and it was like, dude, this is New Zealand. So he was going to come and drop them around here and leave them here, and then figure out a way to get them back to him later, which would have been really shit for him. And then he was just going to hire a couple in Auckland. I was like, man, have you flown in New Zealand before? And he had, so he knew what they were like. Because see, in the US, you just carry your guitar on the plane. They don't even say anything, right, Ben? Maybe some of them do. But here, I have to go in a minute, folks. It's been an hour. I try and keep these to about an hour. I really like that sound. 159. I really like this sound too. This is one I've been working on quite a bit for probably about a year now, and I still don't really feel like I've integrated it, but it's getting closer. It's playing like parallel fifths. 1, 5, upper fifth again, upper fifth again. Intonation needs to be done on this guitar. Awesome, Dan. Yeah, cheers, man. Thanks for checking in and being part of this. It's awesome. And I'll see you Thursday, if not sooner. But that's on this fifths thing. Cool thing is they're not major or minor, right? 1, 5, 9, 6. Yeah, I've heard that it's changed in the US lately too. I saw Guthrie Trapp moaning about it on... wasn't moaning about it, he was just pointing it out. Probably not fair of me to say he was moaning, but he was pointing it out that in Nashville, Music City, that now he has to, when he goes to take his guitar through, it won't fit. So he has to take his guitar out and everything out of the gig bag, the whole lot before it goes through, because scanners are now too small. They've upgraded them, and they won't fit a guitar. And so he has to take everything out of the case and every little thing, and he said it's so degrading every time. So yeah, it is just what it is. What I do now is I have my Telecaster, and I had the necks now removable. I can take it off, and so that's what I did when we went to Alaska and Los Angeles in January. I took the neck off, and I carried the neck on the plane, and the body goes in a backpack with me. Man, no stress at all. It was brilliant. Because the thing is, if I was going to take this guitar, which I would, if the gig required me to have this guitar, then I'd take it. But if could do it on a telly, then I'd just take the telly and take the neck off. It's not worth it if you're going for one gig. Like if I had a gig, I got a gig in Nelson in January, I think it is. And I was like, do I take the telly and just take the neck off? And I was like, well, it's not really. Good luck with the charts too, Dan. It's not worth it for one gig, but you fly in, you put the neck back on, and your guitar's got to settle down a little bit. Yeah, I had metal threaded inserts put into the neck so that you can, and then it used machine bolts rather than screws. And the thing is, man, the crazy thing is you actually get more sustain for it, because you can actually tighten it down even more, and so the neck just like totally locks in there. You actually got to be too careful, because I noticed my neck plate on the back of the telly, it's starting to get like a little dents, and like not dents but insets, because of the force it can now put on it, you know what I mean? But it's awesome being able to take the neck off. Neck goes in a tube that I carry on my back. Guitar body goes in a backpack I carry on my back. And nobody can say anything. But like I said, for one gig it's not worth it, because you put the neck back on and the guitar's going to settle, and maybe you have to change the truss rod. Especially when we got to Alaska, I took a truss rod, Elling key, and it was the wrong size. So I couldn't adjust the guitar, and of course the humidity's there, just different and everything, and man, the telly just was playing like shit. And then imagine if you had to go to like a concert that night, like it'd be hard work. You'd be able to get through it, but if you're going for like a week or something, it's totally worth it. I'm gonna have to split, people, but thank you so much for joining me. You're all awesome. Cheers, Ben. We'll talk soon, eh? I'll give you a call. Got a couple of things I need to run by you, the various different things that have happened, and be awesome to have a chat soon, my bro. And thank you everybody else for being here. You're great, and look out for new videos that are coming soon. Cheers.